Hey everyone, this is Raphael from OfficeSpace, and this is my CO2Art Pro SE Series diffuser review. Now, along with the CO2Art regulator, it also came with the CO2Art in-tank flux diffuser bar, the drop trigger kit, high-quality suction cups, and CO2-resistant aquarium polyurethane tubing. In this review, I want to talk about the installation process, ease of use, my issue with the product itself, customer support experience, and the overall benefits that the product brought to my aquascape. Now, please note that CO2Art is sponsoring this video, but rest assured that I will do my best to keep this review unbiased and informative for my viewers. Now, for the installation process, there's not really a lot of things that I can say about my own process here, because there are many different YouTube videos that anyone can reference when it comes to setting this system up. And each one of those videos are very similar in showcasing the right way of setting up the system itself. Now, in hindsight, if only I consulted any one of these videos, my setup process would have been a lot easier. So if you decide to get yourself one of these systems, then please watch some instructional videos on YouTube to make the process a lot smoother. Now, unfortunately, I didn't do that, so I ended up experiencing issues with gas leaks and connection problems that I could have avoided had I watched any one of these many installation videos out there. Now, with regards to customer support, because I didn't consult any instructional videos on how to properly connect the CO2 regulator to a CO2 canister, I had a really rough time with the installation process, but that's of my own making. Once CO2Art found out about my issues, they immediately connected me to a product expert who easily fixed my issues upon first contact. They shortened the entire process from a few days of me trying to troubleshoot it to a few minutes. Now, with regarding to product issues, I do have a singular personal issue with the CO2Art Pro SE Series CO2 regulator. And the issue that I have is that the product is not well suited to be used with airsoft cylinders that I already have and have been using for the last few years. Because of how heavy the regulator is, I need to put something underneath the regulator to support its weight and prevent it from tipping over and taking the CO2 canister with it. I think that the regulator is more well suited to be used with canisters or cylinders that are at least 1 liter or higher in capacity. That way the regulator is not weighing down the entire system and then potentially tipping it over. Personally, that is really my only issue with the product itself. Now, regarding ease of use, I have used a wide range of CO2 systems, from 2-liter plastic bottles with baking soda and vinegar inside to metallic mini CO2 cylinders that you normally would attach to air softening systems. However, the CO2Art Pro SE series has been the easiest CO2 system that I've used to date. Once my preset flow rate has been accurately dialed in, I only plug and unplug the solenoid adapter. That's it. Personally, the way I use it is I simply open up all of the control valves to full, except for the last valve for fine adjustment of the bubble count. Because of the crudeness of the previous CO2 systems that I have used in the past, I find having to use 3 different flow rate controls to be complicated for me. So I'm glad that the CO2Art regulator that I got, though it's more complex than my previous ones, it's actually able to accommodate the manner in which I use a CO2 system. Therefore, the transition that I've had to do for mini cylinder pin valves to a solenoid one was seamless. It doesn't really feel like I changed much once the presets have been dialed in. Now, with regards to the benefits to my aquascape, the CO2Art Pro SE series does its job amazingly well. It allows me to fine-tune the CO2 infusion in my tank with 3 control valves, easy to read gauges, and a bubble counter. Now, in the past month that I have been using it, I have noticed a drastic improvement in the overall CO2 infusion in my tank water, a noticeable decrease in the CO2 usage, and increased plant growth in the aquarium. I decided to place the atomizer right by the filter output to really scatter the CO2 bubbles generated by the system. And my plants can't help themselves but curl up within the first 15 minutes of turning on the system. Higher difficulty plants like Rotala rameswar, Rotala macrandra mini butterfly, and Anubias pinto are visibly growing well in the tank and are benefiting from the increased CO2 infusion efficiency. Now, it definitely also gives me a boost in confidence in my aquascaping, knowing full well that now I can keep plants that are more demanding in terms of CO2 usage. Now, in conclusion, even though this is the most complex CO2 system I've ever used, it's also the easiest because of how I can easily configure it to act the same way as the ones I've been used to for years, and that it's simply a plug-in, plug-out product. Now, true, the weight of the product itself can easily topple over CO2 cylinders that are 1 liter or less, but it's still a product whose one flaw does not outweigh its other benefits, making it the best CO2 system I have used so far, and I would recommend to anyone looking to get one.